China is preparing for a sea war against India and America. Let me repeat that. China is preparing for a sea war against India and the US. Chinese President Xi Jinping has already sounded the war bugle. He has met a delegation of the People's Liberation Army. Also, China's armed police force. He told the teams to start preparations. What kind exactly? The security teams have been told to build cyberspace defense systems. Preparing for a sea war against India and America. Let me repeat that.
Pause that. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. All right. Let's make sure everything's good. Y'all can see the screen. What do we see online?
That's right.
Huh? Yeah, that's the right one. Is it playing it again? Or did it? Okay, we're good. Cause yeah, mine paused. So Shabbat shalom, everybody. We're really just gonna hurry up and get into it. Brandon, you mind leading us a prayer real quick?
Mike.
Huh? Mike.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you. We come before you humbly. We just thank you. Thank you for everything. We ask your forgiveness for everything that we may have done, knowing and unknowing. We ask your forgiveness for our ancestors, that they would be forgiven for their sins that we didn't know that they done, that our sins would be forgiven, that our sins be taken away from us, that they don't affect our children, our children's children. We ask that you keep a hedge of protection around us, around our family, around our children, around our friends. We ask that you continue to be a blessing upon us, this house, our houses outside of the assembly. And we ask in your son, Yeshua Mashiach's name.
Amen. So this one's about the overarching title is about the new Cold War, right? There's always a lot going on. Because we know that we're on the road to Passover, right? We always talk about the road to Passover. And one of the things, right, that we have been talking about was what? The UN mass relocating to Africa, right? Kenya, the Horn of Africa. We ended up finding out that originally, back in like 1901, Great Britain was going to actually give them 5,000 square miles of land actually in Kenya and Uganda before the Jewish people ended up settling in the Middle East. So it's really kind of strange that now that's where they're going, right? Again, this is some of the stuff that we covered on Midrash. And for easier terms, they're calling it the Global South, right? That's what they call Africa, South America, countries like that, or continents like that. They're calling them the Global South. So just remember that. So I got a few videos. Let's see if YouTube be YouTubing or if it's actually going to let us watch it. So first, let me just talk about how the Haitians, right? They have a lawsuit against the Biden administration because they have actually been being deported across the border. So all these other groups of people, Russians, Chinese, all these other people can actually come through the border, Venezuelans, Mexicans, whatever. But Haitian people, they're not. And these are people that are closely related to us, right? So I got a different video. So if y'all can all go to the channel, watch the video on your phones, because you're not going to hear the audio here. So let me know when y'all ready. Ready? Okay. All right.
A Namibian woman went viral for what she said about the US embassy and how they're basically extorting and scamming people out of money. The reason why she wanted to talk about this is because a friend of hers, or maybe a family member, was denied visa even though they paid almost $200. And by the way, this is not just a Namibia thing. This is specifically many African countries, and I heard a few Caribbeans also talking about this, is the fact that the US embassy will take your money knowing that they're going to reject your visa application.
Oh, this is covered by fair use. It's for educational and training
millions
purposes.
Out of this. Let me just show you the video. We'll come back and discuss.
Africa and America, yes, an embassy. An embassy is here to help people. But if you already see on your system that a person doesn't qualify for the visa, then why take them to the counter where they pay 3,600 for the visa and go to the next counter and be denied the visa? Then first interview them. If they don't qualify, don't make a person like this.
They don't even ask anything. They just said you are denied.
You
They didn't even ask questions.
She
Nobody-
paid 3,600 just to be denied to the next.
Did y'all know any of this has been going on? So again, people that look like a lot of us, they don't want to come into America. And according to Metel Africa, they're trying to go over there and resettle Africa, right? Now, we talked about how the World Economic Forum said that one of the biggest disasters going to happen within the next 2 and then 10 years was going to be involuntary migration. Now, you're starting to see how things are starting to form because, again, they don't want them coming over here, uniting with us, and then they don't want us uniting with them either. So I just want y'all to see that.
Next counter. This is the second time.
Yeah,
Guys,
they're kicking you out. They're going to make you go somewhere and they're going to
these are supposed to be
resettle
our
the
friends
land,
in America. They
recolonize
built
Africa.
a big
If you didn't see
building in our
Wednesday,
country.
It's true.
They built a building in our country so that because we are friends,
That's literally what's going on.
they are
being
friends
very
with
racist.
Namibia. At least that's what we think.
This is a
And I'm just not trying to
huge
put fear in
problem.
nobody, but just
The
want to
U.S.
make you
Embassy
all aware,
is
'cause
known to
India and
deny.
everyone else can come across the border and do whatever, but certain hued people, they don't want them doing anything. They don't want us over there. They don't want them over here. So I'm not gonna play the whole video, but yeah, did y'all get the gist of it, or did y'all want me to keep going with that one? No, you're good. Good.
I got it.
You got it? Okay. So with that being said, I got another video. So the reason why this is titled The New Cold War is because other superpowers are gearing up for a war with the United States. So you got to start preparing your hearts and your minds for the changes that's going to happen. So, and this one is all about the Red Dragon.
China is preparing
And
for
no,
a
I'm not
sea
talking
war
about
against
China.
India and America. Let me repeat that. China is preparing for a sea war against India and the US. Chinese President Xi Jinping has already sounded the war bugle. He has met a delegation of the People's Liberation Army. Also, China is preparing for a sea war against
See, and it's
India
still
and
not funny stuff
America.
again. That doesn't
Let
make
me
no
repeat
sense.
that. China is preparing for a sea war against
Oh,
India and the US.
Okay. I'm not even going to go for it. That's fine.
China is preparing for a sea war against India and America. It's a lie. Let me repeat that. China is preparing for a sea war against India.
It don't make no sense because it's not showing.
Chinese President Xi Jinping has already sounded the war bugle. He has met
I
a
stopped it.
delegation of the People's Liberation
I'll let it go
China
one
is
more time,
preparing
but
for a sea
it
war
doesn't
against
make any
India
sense
and
'cause it
America.
should just be going.
Let me repeat that. China is preparing for a sea war against India and the US. Chinese President Xi Jinping has already sounded the war bugle. He has met a delegation of the People's Liberation Army, also China's armed police force. He told the teams to start preparations. What kind exactly? The security teams have been told to build cyberspace defense systems. Additionally, improve the ability to maintain national
It
security.
doesn't make no sense because like I
The
did. I
Chinese
actually
state
did a
broadcaster
test
quoted
earlier.
Xi
Working
asking the
fine.
Chinese armed forces to coordinate the preparations for maritime military conflicts, the protection of maritime rights and interests, and the developments of the maritime economy. Just look at the timing of this comment. There has been a flare-up in the South China Sea, one that the Philippines is calling the most serious yet. The Chinese Coast Guard has been ramming its ships into Philippine vessels. There were two such incidents this week. First, a Chinese Coast Guard ship.
So did that make? Have y'all heard about any of this? What China's doing? Prepping for war with the United States and India. It's really interesting because I don't necessarily think India is going to be a part of that because India is a part of BRICS, right? So a lot of these things they're not talking about in the news, but China is prepping for war with us. Like literally, because I'm not going to show the whole thing because I know how YouTube likes to operate. But I'm just trying to show y'all that other countries and nations are preparing to war literally with the United States.
They're branding their ships into American
Yeah.
ships.
Yes. Yes. But, you know, let Biden tell it America's stronger and back. America's better than ever, you know. And I'm like, man, that's not what's going on around the world. So, but wait, there's more. I'm not gonna show another video, but I am gonna show y'all something else that's going on because this other video would have been 30 minutes, and that's just overkill.
Sure, can you repeat the educational thing because you said it
Oh.
in the video.
Fair use. This is for educational and training purposes. The videos.
Oh, yeah.
So mass evacuation, Kenya, Uganda. We remember that all that about New York, right? Okay. So, wait, access powers. Wait, am I in the wrong slideshow now?
I mean,
That was what he said.
Yeah,
it's
got
crazy,
you.
but there was that one time a long time ago that somebody messed with the votes in America, and it didn't work out too well.
Yeah, but Russia's not. I mean, China's not alone. They got Russia.
You gotta remember this is
And
where we're
Korea.
at.
So
And Korea.
You have to remember where we're at.
the timeline for what she's
Yeah.
saying, like, so I want y'all to read this headline. What does this headline read, Brandon? What does it say?
Western dominance has ended. EU foreign policy chief emits warning of West against the rest geopolitics.
So even the European Union is talking about the West dominance is over.
Yeah.
Now look at the date that this came out. Is it on here? Yeah, February the 26th.
February.
Right. So 2 weeks ago they said this, right? And there was this video, like I said, it's like 30 minutes. I was like, yeah, that's too long. So this is just the article. I took pictures of it, right? End of the West dominance, right? End of the West. The West will be those at the top row, right? Okay.
Sheesh.
So I know this is all about Joseph Borrell. He says the European Union's High Representative for Foreign Affairs wrote in a blog post on the official website of the UN's diplomatic service on February, the current global geopolitical tensions continue to evolve in the direction of the West versus the rest. Europe's future risk to be bleak, he wants. So if Europe keeps aligning themselves with the United States, they don't have a future. And I don't know why it does that whenever I add that on here. That's why I started doing that. But it says the wars in Ukraine and Gaza, along with the anti-colonial uprisings in Africa, because there's African countries that have been kicking out, like France and these other European nations. So remember, like they term it the global South, and that's what Me Tell Africa was about. So Europe realizes that, oh man, Africa is really on the rise. Everyone knows Africa's on the rise. And now Europe is starting to get worried because Africa is like the motherland of all the natural resources and everything, right? So it says have significantly increased this risk of Europe becoming geopolitically irrelevant. Borrell said, lamenting that Russia has managed to take advantage of the situation. So Russia's getting a foothold over there also. So is China.
I was supposed to be shown in this video. Those slides.
Are they not showing?
No, stuck on that lady.
Ooh, what about now? That doesn't make any sense.
Still stuck on her.
That doesn't make any sense. I did testing, and then it's doing that. That doesn't make any sense. Any sense. Oh,
Close it out, start over.
yeah. I'm just going to.
Close it out and start from where you were.
That don't make no sense, man. I had it working just fine. Yeah, apologize for all the technical issues. That's crazy. We're just gonna stop that altogether. And that's crazy. So if I go back here, what do y'all see? Is it still the same thing?
I close it out.
Yeah, the lady's still on there.
I don't even understand why she's on there.
I like that icon.
You like the icon?
Icon expression.
Okay, so this is what we're gonna do.
She's still on there.
Yeah, don't worry. She won't be. There we go. I don't know why it is what it is. So I'm gonna have to go back. What do y'all see now?
Hold on.
I see.
It's reset.
It's, yeah.
So it's froze or what?
Hmm?
Was it froze?
We shouldn't be. Yeah, we shouldn't be frozen anymore.
Yeah.
We-
Remember, it's a lag, so you gotta wait till it catches up.
Yeah, it's about 20-second lag. So again, high representatives in the European foreign policy or European Union are stating that the West dominance has ended, right? And it talks about how the fact that Europe keeps aligning with the United States is placing them in jeopardy.
Your face is not moving.
We can hear you though.
Yeah, we definitely hear you though.
This don't make no sense.
It just means that,
YouTube is playing games.
Yeah. So that's
all
wild.
those,
I heard all y'all. YouTube playing games.
Yeah. That don't make no sense.
Okay, now you're live. What?
It's loading up.
Yeah, it's low. Okay, access powers. Okay, now we got that screen right there.
Okay. So, again, with Mito Africa, with the stuff going on in the UN, the focus has been to switch their basis of operations to the global south. Okay. Let me just try to get through this part before they do something else. The European Union Foreign Policy Chief revealed that improving our relations with the global south is one of the four main tasks of European Union's geopolitical agenda. So they know that they've got to get better with South America and with Africa. It says the third strategic issue currently on our agenda is about our relations with the so-called global south countries. I know that the term global south encompasses very different realities, but it nevertheless raises a real issue. If the current global geopolitical tensions continue to evolve in the direction of the West against the rest, Europe's future risks to be bleak. The era of Western dominance has indeed definitely ended. So they know about it. Like this is not a game. People keep thinking America's going to stay number one. They're not. Especially with the stuff. They said that the war with Ukraine and Gaza and all this stuff has exacerbated all that, right?
Yeah.
That's what they said. It said significantly risk, as we recently seen in the Sahel and elsewhere in Africa, many in the global south accuse us of double standards. Russia has managed to take advantage of the situation, although its war of aggression against Ukraine is typically an imperialist and colonialist one. We need to push back on this narrative, but also to address this issue, not only with words in the coming months. We must make a massive effort to win back the trust of our partners. But people are waking up, especially the countries that have been colonialized, right? Or colonized. It says Borrell is known for sporadically making frank comments, admitting inconvenient truths that most European diplomats leave unsaid. It says our prosperity was based on China and Russia, energy and market. So that's what was keeping the European Union up. But now China and Russia, they're doing their own thing now. It says, however, insistence that Europe must not divide the world into the West against the rest was contradicted by his insistence in the same February 2024 article that the EU must expand its cooperation with key partners and in particular the U.S. So they really need to separate themselves from the U.S., but they don't really want to because it's been so good for so long. So let me get to this slide. It says, on the global stage, Europe frequently joins the United States in violating the will of the international community. So which international organization do you think that they're talking about?
The EU?
No. Which international one?
Brown.
What'd you say?
Read the next paragraph.
At the United Nations.
The United Nations, what we were just talking about with Mitel Africa, right? The foundation of everything, right? Yeah. So at the United Nations, the United States and Europe often vote together, while the vast majority of member states, which are located in the global south, Africa, South America, vote against them, right? Okay. Let's keep going. It says the end of the West. The U.S. only voted with the majority of the world at the UN General Assembly 32.7% of the time from 1983 to 2012. So the United States has been doing their own thing. And so is the UK because they joined right along with them. In 1988, just 15.4% of overall UNGA votes coincided with the U.S. vote. Europe is the only region of the world that consistently votes with the United States. Yeah. So that's been separating themselves. And all this goes back to the UN, which I didn't even know about this article when we were coming up with the lesson for Wednesday on Midrash.
Yeah, you might want to tell them to revert back to Wednesday.
Yeah, please go to the Midrash lesson on that.
Which was Wednesday. They don't know
Yeah, Midrash Wednesday. It was titled "Me Tell Africa," but it got switched to "Recolonize Africa," if I'm not mistaken. I think it says in November 2023, the West voted against the vast majority of the world in the UN General Assembly, because an assembly is a government, it's leadership, right? Resolutions concerning democracy, human rights, cultural diversity, mercenaries, and unilateral coercive measures, sanctions. Now check this out. In April 2023, the West once again voted as a bloc against the other countries on the UN Human Rights Council defending unilateral sanctions. So all them sanctions that Biden and them have been doing, which violate international law. Did y'all realize that that was violating international law?
No, they don't tell that on the news.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
All them sanctions that they've been doing here recently has been violating international law. But America's the big bully. They've been able to get away with it, right? Right? And exactly. In December 2022, the West voted against the rest of the planet in UN General Assembly votes calling for a new international economic order. So the world doesn't want the UN no more. But the United Nations and the EU voted for it, so it's still around. West versus the rest.
They vote against the whole planet.
Yeah, because if I would have put the video in there, it would tell you about the new cold. This is the literal new Cold War with China gearing up to fight against us. You know, Russia's gearing up, and North Korea, all of them. So just be mindful. This is not to be scary. Just letting you all know what CNN is not telling you. So going back to the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, right? When you talk about eating things that are clean, I'm going to jump down to verse 3. It says, whatsoever parteth the hoof and is cloven footed and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that you shall eat. So he gives us parameters in the things that we should consume, right? So these three things are filters. We can call them even keys, if you will, that's going to help us make it through the tribulations to come, right? So what did parting the hoof, what did parting the hoof mean? Just to divide or break in two. We're going to talk about what that actually means. And cloven footed meant what?
Like web feet type thing. Like
Web feet, but what did it spiritually mean? Because
Like
grip, traction, right? So it helps to keep you in the way of the Most High.
like a paw. It was traction.
Yeah, traction, right?
the goats have when they climb that mountain.
Exactly, mountain goats. Yeah, because I be watching it like, man, how y'all can do all that? That don't even make sense. Right.
No goats. You got different type of goats though that you walk up. They walk up walls like this on mountains.
And I'm going to jump down to verse 7. And the swine, though he divide the hoof and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. So what did it mean to chew the cud?
To ascend. Digest and ascension.
So one digestion,
It's two.
two digestions, right?
You chew it, then you regurgitate.
There we
chew
go.
it again.
For an ascension, right? To get elevated. There we go. Okay. Okay, so y'all are with me on that. That's good. That's good. Get chew the cud, right? So chew the cud. So going back to parting the hoof. What do y'all think it actually means in a spiritual connotation? Because it's really a remix of what cloven footed is. But it's the last thing to help you filter any type of doctrine and any type of information or quote unquote alleged truth that you're getting.
It's like two seeds.
It is like two seeds.
You know, so what's part of it is basically not being double-minded, maybe?
Yes. That's a correct way to say it, yeah. But when you say that, what do you mean by that?
Don't have two
You
different
can't be
ideas.
on one, you can't serve two.
Being fully persuaded, right?
Righteous and then, you
That's
know,
good. That's good. Being fully persuaded.
What does it say? Don't be
Lukewarm.
hot. Don't be lukewarm. Be
Strap
hot or
on
be
your
cold.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Which I was.
All of that is a part of this, right?
Okay.
So we're going to go to 1 Kings 3. We're going to go to 1 Kings 3.
Yeah, something. Yeah, it was close to it.
And we're going to read verses 1 through 9. Jeremiah, if you don't mind grabbing that mic.
And Solomon made affinity with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her to the city of David, until he had made an end of building his own house and the house of the Most High, and the wall of Jerusalem round about. Only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built unto the name of the Most High until those days. And Solomon loved the Most High, walking in the statutes of David his father. Only he sacrificed and burnt incense in high places.
Well, and everyone was doing it at that time because we didn't have a quote unquote temple, right?
Yeah.
So at this point in time, he's doing everything. He's chewing the cud, parting the hoof, and he's being somewhat, he's being cloven-footed, but he's been somewhat parting the hoof, right? Okay, keep going.
And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer upon that altar.
So he's giving everything he got to the Most High right now, right? Keep going.
In Gibeon the Most High appeared to Solomon in a dream by night. And Most High said, ask what I shall give thee.
So I'm going to ask y'all, what would y'all do if the Most High appeared to y'all and asked y'all that? What would y'all ask for? Just be honest.
I'm asking for more wisdom and knowledge, so
Yeah.
I know what to do in this life.
That.
Yep, me too.
That. I wouldn't ask for nothing.
That.
I mean, I pray about that all the time because
Good.
there's so much. And
I'd ask for knowledge.
Yeah, for real. We getting too close, and there's too much of an inheritance online for all that. Like, okay, keep going.
And Solomon said, thou hast showed unto thy servant David my father great mercy, according as he walked before thee in truth and in righteousness and in uprightness of heart with thee. And you hast kept for him this great kindness, that thou hast given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Most High, my Most High, thou hast made thy servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And thy servant is in the midst of thy people, which thou hast chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude.
So this is we're about to read what it is. I want to know if y'all can see it.
All right. Give therefore thy servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thou so great a people?
So
Discernment.
that's it.
Discernment.
Discernment, because like y'all was talking about not being double-minded, not being unstable. So the Most High is going to give you discernment, and you got to walk in confidence. That's what y'all are talking about, right? So we have chewing the cud, right? Because that means you got to meditate on the word of the Most High. And then you have what? It was being cloven-footed. Traction. So that means you're staying in the way of the Most High. But all of that means nothing if it's not what? If it doesn't part the hoof. Because if you don't have discernment, you can be chewing the cud. You can be cloven-footed on the wrong information, on the wrong creator. But if you don't have discernment, you're not going to make it. Discernment.
Stressed out for
No reason at all. No reason at all. And the word for discernment there is bending, right? To discern, to understand, to perceive, to know, to observe, to mark, and give heed to. So it's paying attention. And then once you know that you know, it's like, okay, no, I'm paying attention to that. I already know that ain't for me. There ain't nothing good that can come of that. Like arguments and disputes that don't matter, they ain't got nothing to do with you. To have discernment, insight, understanding. You've got to have discernment. And when I say that, everyone has discernment, but everyone doesn't exercise that muscle because we get in autopilot and we just go with the flow too much. Right. And sometimes you got to pull yourself back like, okay, no thoughts. We're not going to go there. Okay. Emotions and body. I'm not going to allow you to make me do something I'm going to regret because I have discernment. These are 3 keys. This is a filtering system to help you to be able to maneuver in the waters that's coming because there's a flood of destruction coming to this place. There's no getting around it.
Man.
And so we were talking about before, right? We were reading in John 4 when we started this thing, right? And we stopped somewhere, and we're just going to kind of go back to that, because man shall not live by what?
Bread alone.
Okay. Therefore said, verse 33, therefore said the disciples one to another, hath any man brought him to eat? Because remember, he said, I have meat or that you know not of, right? Then he says, Yahushua said unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me, and to finish his work. So with all of these three filtering systems, these three keys, it's all to make sure that you can do the will of the Father. Not your will, not what other people will for you to do, his will. Because a lot of times we get so used to, like you were talking about earlier, if you don't mind talking about it, doing the will of everybody else.
What?
Because you have the means to do it. And sometimes people are put in place for you to do it, and then sometimes they're not. But what is the word for today? Discernment.
I'm not trying to please everybody else.
He's talking about
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Brandon.
you want to talk about it?
If well,
I'm talking about it, no names.
okay, go ahead. Go ahead. No, you know what? No, you're right. You're right. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's just keep going.
We're trying to please everybody else's will.
Yeah, it's
This is your kids.
and even then you can't please it all, because sometimes you got to give them what they need and not what they want.
That's the thing. It wasn't that. I was. Never mind.
Because when you're doing his work, you know, and you're seeking first the kingdom, all things are going to be added unto you. The way is going to be made plain. But we get so focused on the things that we think that we need to do, and not focusing on him, not even just asking him, hey, if I do this, is this in your will? You know, are you going to make this easy for me? Is it going to be something that I have no business doing? And are we being attentive and alert to the answer? Because that still small voice. Go ahead.
I'll say this.
You can grab the mic. You can grab the other one.
Alright, well, not talking about it, but I didn't see it. I walked into a building and somebody asked me a question. And that's literally how it happened. It just fell in my lap. That was it.
Okay.
You want to tell us all that?
That was it.
Okay.
Brandon, you could have kept
So
that to yourself.
I'm gonna get back to it. So say not you that there are yet 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest. Right. So you got to see things with faith and understand or discern the times that you're in. Right. And he that reapeth receiveth wages, and gathereth fruit unto life eternal, that both he that soweth and he that reapeth may rejoice together. So we know this is the road to Passover, right? Everything's about Mashiach, the things that he did, right? Because we're supposed to be, for lack of a better term, following his example. So in order to make your calling and election sure, in order to be fully persuaded, you have to know about the source of your faith. Like, is he really your source? Can you discern that now? Are you sure that if the times get tough, and let's say we can't get together for months at a time, and with no contact, no nothing, are you sure that you're going to be rooted enough, right? Can you use these 3 keys to help you keep your traction, to help you part between the doctrines, right? To be able to know that you and your family are going to be all right based off of your faith, because we're all leaders, right? We all have children. Your faith is what's going to make them make it. You got to start thinking in those lines now, because it's not just going to be like a lot of our parents are here now, and we've been surviving on their faith and on their prayers and this and that, but we got kids too. And it's going to be about the prayers and the actions and the faith that we have that's going to help them make it through. Because again, our ancestors always used to think ahead, those that were righteous. It's not just about them and their lifetime right now. Future generations. We're talking about a whole nahala, a whole inheritance. And herein is that saying true: one soweth and another reapeth. I sent you to reap, thereon you bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and you are entered into their labors. And many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him for the saying of the woman, which testified, He told me all that I ever did. So these people already had that faith. Oh man, that sounds like Mashiach. Wait, Mashiach's here in this day? Oh, we believe we can discern it already. Because if you don't know about that time period, and even like hundreds of years before that, we knew that there was a Mashiach coming. We were looking for a Mashiach, but only those that were rooted in faith and in the Torah of the Most High, the light of the Most High, could discern that thing. Because when you read in the quote-unquote New Testament, you see all the scribes, Pharisees, all these people, they couldn't discern Mashiach right in front of them. They couldn't do it. Like, who does he think he is?
Who are you?
Like, who are you? Just look at the works, look at the miracles. And many of the Samaritans of that city believed on him for the saying of the woman, which testified, he told me all that I ever did. So when the Samaritans were come unto him, they besought him that he would tarry with them, and he abode there 2 days. That's a whole digestion. And many more believed because of his own word. So some people that you got to hear from the horse's mouth to believe it. Those others, because faith cometh by hearing. Some people can hear from a third party, and then they just grab onto that thing and they're like, that's it. I'm healed. I'm wealthy. I'm restored. We are renewed. We've made it through. But some people, they got to hear, no, who told you this? Where's he going to be at? Let me go hear from that person.
Let me pull up on him.
Let me pull up. Better than Enterprise. I pull up.
Pull up game strong.
Boy, pull up game strong. And said unto the woman, now we believe, not because of your saying, for we have heard him ourselves, and know that this is indeed the Mashiach, the Savior of the world. So I have a question for y'all. Are y'all hearing it for yourselves? Think about it. Are you actually hearing it for yourself? Are you taking the time to really listen? And are you asking? Or are you just doing the trivial prayer before you eat? Maybe prayer before you go to bed, maybe. And not really asking that thing. Because in this day and age, it's completely about faith. We can't see him in this physical reality. But are you hearing him for yourself? I don't hear nothing. Okay. All right. That's what I need to hear. Now, after 2 days, he departed thence and went into Galilee. For Yahushua himself testified that a prophet hath no honor in his own country. Because that's really how it be. Because people grew up with you. They seen you at your worst. Yeah. And then once you ascend because you've chewed the cud, they can't discern it. Because they don't even know how to filter that type of truth. That type of word, that type of will, that type of faith. They have no idea. They have blinders on. The blind leading the blind. Then when he was coming to Galilee, the Galileans received him, having seen all the things that he did at Jerusalem at the feast, for they also went unto the feast. So Yahushua came into Cana of Galilee, where he made the water wine. And there was a certain nobleman whose son was sick at Capernaum. When he heard,
He couldn't walk, could he?
Okay. When he heard that Yahushua was come out of Judea into Galilee, he went unto him. So he had been hearing about this guy. Man, he healing everybody. Man, my son, he's sick too. Hold on. And besought him that he would come down and heal his son, for he was at the point of death. And that point of death, that could be physically, that could be mentally, that could be spiritually. So where are you at in your physical, mental, and spiritual walk right now? Then said Yahushua unto him, except you see signs and wonders, you will not believe, right? Because that's a lot of people, you got to show them before they're going to believe it. That's why they was like, hey, I got to hear from him. I can't just hear from you. I don't know. I can't trust that. Yeah. The nobleman said unto him, sir, come down right now, my child die. I mean, come down, man. Come on to the house real quick. I just need you to come slide through and do your healing thing, Yeah, I won't be with you long. You ain't even got to stay there. You just got to come on to the house. Come to the crib. Yahushua said unto him, go thy way, thy son liveth. Now, who here has enough faith to hear that and to believe it? You have that faith?
Yeah, you told me.
Huh?
Yes.
Huh? So,
yes.
I mean, but have you been hearing from the Most High yourself?
No, but I have the things that I've seen done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
that if I heard that word, yes, I would.
Okay. Okay. I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to question it. It says, and the man believed the word that Yahushua had spoken unto him, and he went his way. Faith in action. He believed that thing. And as he was now going down, his servants met him and told him, saying, thy son liveth. Now, what if he wouldn't have believed his report? What would have happened?
Probably wasn't going to happen.
No, it wasn't going to happen. Because remember, Yahushua would go everywhere trying to heal people. And he couldn't do many miracles because of unbelief. So that's what I'm trying to tell people with the stuff that's coming down the pipe. It's not to scare you. It's to prepare you. So you don't end up being at a point of death from fear. Because we serve a creator that can deliver us from everything. Everything. Your faith has got to be bedrock in that. It's not about the preparation that we're doing now. It's not about that. It's about the spiritual preparation that we're doing at home. That we're working on daily. That's what's going to help you get through. That's really what Parteth hoof is about, that discernment. But you have to put in the work. You got to do something. His son liveth. Then inquired he of them the hour when he began to amend. And they said unto him, yesterday at the 7th hour the fever left him. So like, man, what time do you say my son got started doing better? So the father knew that it was at the same hour that he said, go, your son he good. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I got you. The same hour. That's how powerful you are when your faith and your actions line up. Because if he didn't have that mustard seed of faith, he would have never sought Mashiach. He could have just been like, man, my son is dead. That's it. But no, he had that faith like, nah, I know faith without works is dead. Let me go find this man. Let me Hey man, all you got to do is come down real quick.
He ain't gonna put on his choppers.
Oh, so you ain't gonna come to the crib? Oh, you gonna give me the word? Bird. So the father knew that it was at the same hour in the which Yahushua said unto him, thy son liveth, and himself believed, and his whole house. Because when miracles are made manifest like that, you got no choice. Because there's miracles that happen that science cannot even explain. And people want to worship science as a god. This again is the second miracle that Yahushua did when he was come out of Judea into Galilee. So that was from John 4, right? So going to Matthew 4. Only the first 11 verses. One of y'all, it don't matter. Please read.
Then was Yeshua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. When he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward and hungered. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread.
So I got a question. So when did he get tempted?
After the 40 days and 40
After.
nights.
So you would think
41.
of, huh?
41.
Right. So that's the 41st day, right? But you got to think, you think the hardest temptation you're going to have to deal with is in the middle of a 40-day fast. So he is literally waiting until you are at your weakest, your most vulnerable. That little snake in the garden. Trust in me, little snake, little boy. Look. Yeah, for real. Like that. But that's what he's waiting on. He's waiting for that perfect time. Like, oh man, hey man, this is the perfect time. Oh, Mashiach, he ain't ready. He'll never see me coming. Bro, that's and we wonder why things be going so right. One bad thing happens, you start going on a downward spiral, and he'll wait a little bit. And then all of a sudden, just everywhere. It's like, man, what's going on? I thought I'd already passed the test. You wait until now? So, like, the real test is after the hardship? Keep going. I'm trying to. That's when he wants you. He wants you when he think there's no perceived fight.
Because it's least expected.
Huh? It's least expected, but when you think about the state that Mashiach must have been in, right?
Yeah, starving.
His physical body,
starving.
weak.
Yeah.
But when you can tell your body, I'm not going to eat for 40 days and 40 nights, your spirit man is on a whole nother level. That's why right now it's all about the spiritual work that we put ourselves through. It's not the physical preparation. It wasn't the physical preparation that had Mashiach ready for that. It was what he was doing in the spiritual, right? Because he had what? What's the word? And discernment. Discernment. That's the only way you can part the hoof.
I told myself I wasn't going to eat McDonald's for like a month, and I made it about a week and a half. I ain't got it.
Because you don't have faith in it.
I mean, I can have it.
You don't have faith in it.
I can have it, but I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
I don't like eating people. Oh, that's another story.
I said that to myself the other day. I literally.
Have you not seen the video?
And you still don't eat it? No, I don't eat it.
Oh.
I'm like,
I'm about to say, because if you say you can't stop McDonald's, you don't have faith in it.
No, I don't eat it anymore. We now serve chicken nuggets made out of real chicken. What was made before?
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
But he answered and said, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High."
So that means he had discernment, because the food that he was really, that was sustaining him that whole time, it wasn't physical food. So when we were in the wilderness, right? 40 years. How long was he in the wilderness?
40 days.
A representation of how long we was actually in there. A day for a year, right? So everything that he did was mirroring what we had went through. Everything is about Mashiach. Go ahead.
I just thought about this. Okay, so 4.
40. Yep.
4.
Mm-hmm.
400 years.
Facts.
40
days. 40 years.
40 days. 41. Dude, listen.
Yeah. 40 is like a special number to the Most High. But again, the only way that he could make it, because that gets into gematria, I'm not getting into all that. The only way he could make it is because he had discernment and because of the spiritual work he was doing during a fast. Because you can go through a fast and not get any better because you ain't working on nothing. You still basically like, oh, I'm fasting. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be eating this. I'm going to do this as soon as I get done and this and that. And you're not really feeding your spirit, man, at all. But Mashiach, he took that time because he knew that he was getting imbued with power, right? And so from John 4 and even in Matthew 4, when his disciples were gone, right? From John 4, he had just got done with this 40-day fast. They went to go grab him food. And so they came back like, who done brought this man food? He talking about he got meat and bread that we know not of. Like, what's you talking about? Like, what could you be talking about? But he was sustained by a greater source because have y'all ever heard of, just to get off subject, these people called breatharians? Y'all get a chance, look it up. There is literal people who literally survive off of the air. It's not a joke. What they'll do is they'll drink water, but when it comes to food, they won't eat anything. Because you can literally survive off of that because Yahuwah is the breath of life in you, right? It's actually possible because then, and what they do, they ground a lot. So they're getting all the nutrients and everything from the ground, from the natural sources. But we don't live by bread alone. I'm just trying to open your minds. We don't live by just bread and meat. It's about every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High. And we understand the filtering system that he's given us, right? Look into breatharians. I'll see the way you look. Like, what is you talking about? Okay. Just look.
What is that, breatharians?
Breatharians, yeah. You get a chance, look into that. Why were the disciples asking Yahushua about food? I just told y'all, right? Right. So then, as we continue, keep reading from Matthew. My bad.
Then the devil taketh him up into the holy city and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple. And saith unto him, If thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down. For it is written, He shall give His angels charge concerning thee, and in their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou dash thy foot against the stone.
Now, is it wise to tempt the Most High? Like, hey, you said I would never even fall over a stone. Where you want me to jump from? There's stones down there anyway. Man, I'm good. I'm good. Man, I'm good. Hey, yo, Mikael. Hey, you know what time it is, right?
You don't want to test the Most High.
No, he gonna let you die. Like, what you mean? I gave you enough. I gave you a sound mind and enough discernment not to jump off of a high height.
Yeah.
You dumb? Like,
oh, man.
keep going.
Yeshua said unto him, It is written again, Thou shalt not tempt. I shall not tempt the Lord thy God. Then the devil taketh him up into an exceeding high mountain, and sheweth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them.
So this is something that happens to a lot of like the wealthy. So I don't know if y'all are tracking what's going on with Ryan Garcia. I know you are, the boxer. Well, he ended up doing a podcast with Andrew Tate, and he ended up just like spilling his guts out basically, because it was time for him to take the oath and to go to a higher level in this, in the selling of your soul. And he talked about how they pinned him down. And then how he had to watch as they were doing unspeakable acts to children and sacrificing them. Raping them and sacrificing them. Because that's a whole nother order. You have to do a lot of other things. That's why you see our men and athletes in movies and TV shows or whatever wearing women's dresses and playing women and this and that or whatever. It's the stuff that you have to do. So even Mashiach got tempted like that, because even though the enemy said all you got to do is bow down and serve me, no, you bow down and then there's other things you have to do after that in order to prove that you're still serving that master. So any type of way that we have been tempted, Mashiach was tempted that way because he still had this flesh on. We got to stop overly deifying somebody that was still a flesh suit. The Holy Spirit, the Ruach came down on him. And it was because of his sacrifice that we are given the adoptions of sons and daughters. But still, he was a man in the flesh. And with that, he had the same temptations. And even more still, he's your ancestor. Right? Keep going.
And saith unto him, all these things will I give thee. Thou wilt fall down and worship me.
See? That's all the enemy wants. He wants you to not chew the cud. He don't want you to be cloven-footed. He definitely don't want you to part the hoof, because a lot of these doctrines are so close, it's just that they don't part the hoof. Or maybe they don't chew the cud. Or maybe they're not cloven-footed. They be so close, like, man, that sounds... Yeah, man, these crystals, they can't be that bad. I mean, these Christian witches do it. Like, all this and that. Like, yeah, like, no, these are good witches. Like, all this craziness. I'm like, okay. Oh, yeah, man, like there's some crazy doctors out there. You start looking, and you're just like, man, y'all wild. Oh, okay. I can't get into all that. Like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's all I'm trying to say. Just make sure you're using these 3 keys to filter everything. Okay, keep going.
Then said Yeshua unto him, give thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship Yahweh the Most High, and him only shalt thou serve.
No, we can serve the devil too, right?
No.
We can serve Shiva too?
No, we can serve the Almighty dollar.
Huh?
Yeah.
Dollar bill, y'all. Right? No, the Most High and him only. Him only. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Mashiach says, right? Am I making that up?
Not at all.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, keep going.
Then the devil leaveth him, and behold, angels came and ministered unto him.
Why do you think the angels came and ministered? Because he had just passed the test. Oh, you good now. Don't even worry about it. Because the devil, like, look, the enemy, the adversary, that snake in that garden, right? Boy, slick. And he pull out the red carpet, man. I'll give you everything. Yeah. Look at all these kingdoms. All the worlds throughout time. They're yours. Huh? All you have to do is worship and trust me. That's all you have to do. I got you. Don't even worry about it. The Most High didn't really say that you can't worship nobody else. He just said you can't worship him on this day. You can worship, but you can worship me on the first day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's slick.
Very slick.
Yeah.
You see how close that is?
You gotta pay attention
The
to
first day
detail.
to the actual Shabbat?
You gotta pay attention to detail.
Discernment.
Yeah.
Discernment. Everything's the same. It's just, because don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with worshiping on the first day of the week. I'm never going to speak against that. But if that's the day that you holler when the Most High already told you, you're not filtering anything. You're going by a doctrine of men, the traditions of man.
Sundays and Wednesdays, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if
You already know it.
worship on the first day, you might as well worship all 7 days, but the 7th is set aside.
It's a holy convocation.
So the question is, worshiping is not a one-day thing.
It's not.
So who are you worshiping?
Right.
Like, I mean, we're all guilty of it because
Right.
when we pick up on Facebook or we have other time or we haven't studied our Shabbat, look, I think about that all the time. I'm like, you know, I can be studying more. I can be studying more.
Mhm.
And anytime we say that to ourselves, we can be in our word studying because that's the Father asking us to study Him. So what are we worshiping if we're not worshiping the
See,
Father?
she just discerned and she heard the word for herself. That's discernment right there.
I mean, that's right there. So it's deep.
Mhm.
Because He did 40 days.
Yeah. And
And tempted, and we're tempted every day in our life.
Uh-huh.
So how many times a day do we actually worship the Father?
Mhm.
That's just something.
Because worship is where you place your focus on.
Yes.
So, and we wonder why we keep manifesting the stuff that we don't want. Because we give Him no time at all. We don't focus on the good things that He's given us because He's still giving us life every day. He's still giving us healthy children, healthy, significant others, or, a home to stay in, vehicles to drive. We can't even give Him praise for that. Nothing.
We're too busy.
Yeah, because everything else is going wrong. So, I don't know. Woe is me. When the Most High is right there and He's still saying, behold me, I'm right here.
Like, it could be worse.
Yeah.
And then when it gets worse, boom, you're like, what do I do? Well, you didn't praise me with the bad times.
Huh.
So why am I going to bless you with the good times? I don't mean it. I'm just,
Stay on that
that was
soapbox.
my that was just confirmation.
Please stay on that soapbox.
He said, talk that talk.
That's just confirmation for me. Just, man.
I'm telling you, because that discernment is what's going to help us to make it through. Because, and everything that Yahushua was talking about, because I talked about last time how the scripture talks about to the law and to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it's because there's no light in him. So when Yahushua talks about, what did he talk about? I have meat that you know not of, or man shall not live by bread alone. I know we've covered this before, but y'all know that comes from the Old Testament, right? Y'all know it. So Deuteronomy 8. Jeremiah, if you don't mind.
All the commandments which I command thee this day shall you observe to do, that ye may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land which the Most High sware unto your fathers. And you shall remember all the way which the Most High thy God led these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether you would keep his commandments or no.
Now Yahushua went where? To the wilderness
Yeah.
for 40 days and 40 nights. It was to humble him and to prove him, to know what was in his heart, if he would what? Whether he would keep the commandments of the Most High.
Wow.
Everything is a representation of what he did.
Yeah.
Everything. Because Yahushua would do what? He knew how to mortify his members. So when the tempter came, it was like nothing like, oh, you think just because I ain't been eating that I ain't been eating?
Yeah.
Just me not eating don't mean I ain't eating.
Yeah, I'm eating spiritually.
Because just like I just told I'm going to tell my disciples, I got bread, I got meat that you know not of. I got a whole different source that I'm surviving off of. That's got nothing to do with this physical body.
Tapped in.
Because I came from eternal. And from back to eternal I will go. Right? Again, he's living off of a different source. That's a different manner of man. Keep going.
And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna.
Wait, who humbled him?
The Most High.
And the Most High made him hunger? Yeah, that's what it says, right?
Fed thee to hunger.
Okay, and then what?
Fed him with manna.
And then at the end, did the angels not minister unto Yahushua? We just read that, right? Okay.
Which ye knowest not,
Mm-hmm.
neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doeth not lie by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High doeth man live.
So, how can you, bless you, Cody, how can you live by more than bread if you don't even get in the word?
Yeah,
Huh?
it's not possible.
He was able to survive that in the wilderness, not fasting in modern day civilization, out in the hot wilderness, was able to live, survive that because he had a different source of bread, spiritual, right? And that gave him that sustenance. But if you don't pick up the word, if you don't take the time out and read it, How are you going to get that type of power? Because that was what I was about. Because I've said this before. You don't see Yahushua do any miracles until after the 40 days and 40 nights. It's not in there. You don't see any miracle in the quote-unquote New Testament until after the 40 days and 40 nights. He did that. He was imbued with power. That's why this is the road to Passover. Imbuing of power. We're trying to make sure that we don't get passed over from the power because we want the power. We want to ascend, right? Just like the cud that we've been chewing. But we got to get in there in order to get that. And only us individually can reach that. That way, when we come together as a body, power. We're trying to operate in power. This is not just about just saying I come to Shabbat. It's not saying, oh, I'm not a Christian. That's not what it's about. It's about being imbued with power. Right? Keep going.
Thy raiment wax not old upon thee, neither did thou foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chastiseth his son, so the Most High, thy God, chastiseth thee.
So sometimes when you go through stuff, the Most High is really just trying to prove you. Just trying to see what's really in your heart and what's in your mind, just like what Solomon said. So of the 3 keys that we talked about, when he talks about consider in your heart, which key you think that was? It wasn't parting the hoof. Let me say that now. Huh? No, that's parting the hoof. That consider in your heart, that was parting the hoof. Not that one. It was an earlier one. So we had discernment, which is this one, parting of the hoof. You still have cloven footed, and you had what? Chewing the cud. Because when you say, I got to chew the cud on that word real quick, what did that mean?
Get a better understanding.
So that means to do what? Consider in your heart. You see that? So using the keys to filter everything. So when you start reading stuff like, okay, if he's telling me that I have to meditate on something, that's chew the cud. Consider in my heart, that's chew the cud. Think on these things, that's chewing the cud. Breaking things into categories. Breaking everything down is what we have to start doing to make it digestible. So we can then, when it comes back down, that second time, that means we can excrete all of the vital nutrients in it, right? It's slowing down, but it's still, you still got to read that thing. Yeah. Keep going.
Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Most High thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For the Most High thy God bringeth thee into a good land.
And I want it.
A land of brooks of water, of fountains, and depths that spring out of valleys and hills. A land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates. A land of olive oil and honey.
I want it.
A land wherein you shall eat bread without scarceness. You shall not lack anything in it. A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you mayest dig brass.
So it's resourceful.
Yeah, like Africa.
Literally.
Yeah. When you have eaten and art full, then ye shall bless the Most High thy God for the good land which he hath given thee.
So I got a praise report. So today, we got those double doors tinted, right? We're going to have to pay the guy today. And I was like, man, I don't really want to have to do that. So I come up here and he's asking me exactly how we wanted to get it done. Because for some, this is the second time where he was supposed to come out and he actually came out. Both times he wanted to come on Shabbat. I'm like, well, he said, it's the only time it's open. I'm like, well, all right, he's available. So he comes here and it was supposed to be $250. You know what this man says to me? I was like, well, if I got to make out this cashier check, who do I make it out to? Oh, my mama would kill me. She raised me right. Y'all ain't paying a dime. Didn't have to pay nothing. Nothing at all. And I was like, man, are you sure? I'm tweaking. He put it on the invoice. Matter of fact.
What?
Check this out.
That's because you're obedient. I was wondering why I couldn't see him when I came over here.
Yeah. Read what that says. Read what that says.
Alright.
No charge, donation to church in memory of Doris Robertson.
So because he said his mother raised him right, he said she would kill me. And no, I didn't tell him to put all that on there. Because I was like, can we get a business card or something so we can shout you out or whatever? This he's like, no, I'll put it on my invoice, but this is in memory of my mama because she raised me the right way. But like you talking about being obedient, and the Most High gave us a blessing because, we've been doing everything we can, putting everything we got into this place. All praises to the Most High for that because that's a blessing. I was over here like, man, I really don't want to have to pay him today, this and that. And the Most High made a way. Man,
Wow.
that's a blessing, right? Keep going.
Beware that you forget not the Most High thy God, and not keeping his commandments, and his judgments, and his statutes, which I command thee this day. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein.
So verse 11, that means that you have to have what? Because you just read it. You have to have what? Discipline. And what's the word of the day? Discernment. Because that's when everything is going right in your life.
Yeah.
You better not forget the Most High.
Of course.
You got to have that, like she said, discipline. You got to also have discernment. Like, man, everything is going good. Let me go ahead and praise the Most High now. Let me go ahead and give him the time, the attention that I need now, because my spirit man needs to work out. He needs some exercise, right? Don't forget that, right? He put it in here to warn us, like, hey, don't do that. Don't do it, because we're going to see what's going to happen. Keep going.
And when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied.
Oh, man, just making it rain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then thine heart be lifted up,
and
thou forget the Most High thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, who fled thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, who fled thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good at thy latter end.
Because the Most High, that's what he wants to do. It's all about the latter end. Because you got a former rain and a latter rain. 2 seeds, but there's also 2 digestions, right? And we want that latter end, right? But we've got to make sure, again, it's on us. It's got nothing to do with anybody else, because that ending, the promises, you talk about being rulers of the world, like that great. There's nothing better than that for us. There's all the hell on earth that our people have went through, generation after generation after generation, and you're talking about we won't have to go through that in the end if we just start chewing the cud now. If we just start having cloven foot now, make sure we get the right traction. And if we just start having discernment or parting of the hoof now, we can gain rulership later. That's the choice is literally up to you. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead.
This passage is just not like, yes, the future to come, this is what we're working to the end for. But if we apply this word
there it is
now to our lives, because like as you was reading, I was just picturing where I came from, from when I was surviving off of a $900 check, trying to take care of kids and struggling, into where I'm at now, to apply not just the things you spoke of, but praise and prayer through it all, not just the good times, but through the bad times as well. Because I'm pretty sure while the father was in his fasting, he was calling. He had to, because that's something.
Yes.
I need, Lord, give me some relief.
You know what's hot.
And so that whole passage, and when I look at this, I look at my life and see where I went through and okay, am I doing this right? And now where I'm at now, I'm like, that was nothing but the Father right there, because I didn't have good credits. So I'm like, and I believe, I literally put it out there, and I kept saying, no, Father's gonna be my credit check. And that's what happened. So as we go through this, remember where we come from, and still give him praise when we get to that successful that we're wanting, and even thereafter to help other people understand, this wasn't of me. This was of my Father. I believe and I trust him. Let me tell you about my walk. So when you guys were reading, I was like, man, I just keep that humbleness and keep that discernment and keep, letting people know, like, no, this is, I'm doing what the Father is asking me to do, and by doing that, He's blessing those things. So, through the good and through the bad.
In all thy ways.
Yes.
Acknowledge Him.
Not Roman Reigns, Him, the Most High, right? My bad.
You know, when I tell people, oh, as you were, sorry, as you were, when I tell people about the Most High, I actually give them your story. Yeah. So I'm like, so I can tell you what the Most High did for me, but that's cliche. It's cliche. I can do it all day, but I'm gonna tell you what He did for my homegirl. So my homegirl bought a house, but it ain't that she bought a house. People buy houses all the time. I'm like, nah. So she was about to sign for this house, right? And like they was about to buy this house or whatever, and they was sitting there waiting to sign it. Like, you don't know what you just bought. Wait till they sign these papers. And as soon as they sign these papers, you didn't know you had all the rest of this land. And I'm like, dude, you got a whole plantation.
You ain't lying. Literal. Because we worked it.
And I didn't know till after.
And she said that's facts.
The people are sitting there, the people that I talked to about this, and I'm like, dude, I said, and everybody I know around me that are now, following after the Most High have similar stories, like raising chickens and have cows and have, I said, and it's not even about what they have. I said, it's about what they've learned along the way. It's better to have the knowledge that they're receiving from the Most High because the blessings come in the knowledge. I mean, you can go to the store and buy eggs all day, but why would you want to buy eggs when He can give them to you? Just that simple. But that's it.
Okay. Keep going, Jeremiah.
And thou say in thy heart, my power and the might of mine hand has gotten me like this wealth.
Because that's what happens. When things go really good, you start getting self-absorbed. Man, I did that. I'm him. I'm Himothy. Yeah. You can't tell me nothing. Listen to Kanye too much.
It's all about me. I did all that.
Right.
Yeah. But thou shalt remember the Most High thy God, for it is He that giveth thee power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant, which He sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day.
Do we remember that? Because a lot of times we be trying to accrue wealth and resources on our own.
Yeah.
He gives us that power to do that. Again, this is all about being rooted in the Most High.
Right.
And like she was talking about, speaking a thing, decreeing a thing, believing that the Most High can do it. You have to be persuaded that your words have power. And then when you're doing the things that's pleasing to the Most High, He's going to have your back. I'm telling you. In the times to come, and even now, you got to start using that now. And it's not just something that just automatically happens. No, you got to work that thing out. You got to exercise these faith muscles and the muscles of discernment. You've got to. There's nothing to be scared of, because a lot of times we're actually scared of getting it right, because maybe we could, if we get it right, when it comes to faith, maybe we could manipulate or use it for bad ends. That's how some people think. Like, okay, well, if I just focus on this thing, even though it's not technically hurting anybody, the Most High wouldn't really like it, but I really want it. Because sometimes we still have that inner child that's to a detriment, if that makes sense to you. Instead of focusing on, okay, this is what's needful. Father, I would like to have this if it's within your will, and I will do the things that I have to do to make that become manifest. Because a lot of these times, people be having wicked imaginations in their head. Let me just say that. That's what it comes to. What is your imagination really about? Are you really about kingdom building? Are you really about building your family? Or are you just trying to tear everything down? Tear down every relationship, tear it down like any woman that's whatever, married, whatever, or any man that's married, whatever. Like what's really in your heart? Because the Most High, He knows. People may not be able to see you, but the Most High, He sees you. Like literally, when you really going through and you think nobody knows, the Most High will whisper a word to somebody who's been praying to the Most High, who's been seeking the Most High, and they will literally tell you everything that you're going through. If it's never happened to you, it's scary. I'll tell you that much. Like, it is scary. Like the few times when it's happened to me, like just tears just start running down my face. Like, how do you even know that? I ain't told nobody nothing.
Where were you at?
Yeah, wait.
Like,
You spied on me? You in my house? What a camera at?
No, like, where they
Even like there's times when I call back home, like, and I'm overseas, talk to mama, and she just, God told me to say this, told me you're going through this and that. I'm like, how do you know?
Yeah.
He's real, and he looks out for his own. But a lot of times we got to get out of our own ways, thinking that we know everything, thinking that we know our way out. You saying that like you know from experience?
No, I know.
Huh?
I used to always.
I'm about to say used to. Yeah, switch that language.
Yeah.
Got to get out of your own way. Did you finish that? No. Keep going.
So that's the hardest part is dying to his way.
Yep. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Most High thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day that ye shall surely perish. Man. As the nations which the Most High destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient to the voice of the Most High, your God.
Are you hearing it for yourself?
Chop you down.
Yeah. Are you hearing it for yourself? You got to get to the point to where you can hear and accept the word of the Most High. That still small voice. That's what's going to carry you through. Sometimes you got to quiet your own mind. Sometimes you got to tell your mind to shut up, turn off. I've had enough.
I'll be having all types of stuff.
Sometimes you got to fight that thing like, nah. You fight them with the word. Find some scriptures to really be bedrock in like, nah. Mm-mm. The Most High wills out, man, is always prospering. Nope. That ain't me. I'm healed by the stripes of Mashiach. Nope. I'm not falling for none of that. But it takes repetition, because he's going to prove you. He takes you through a terrible wilderness to prove you. Sometimes that terrible wilderness is your mind. That's the biggest obstacle that you have to overcome, is your own mind, because you are your worst enemy. That's what, when I was doing a teaching on going through the water and looking at your reflection, is all about. Because some of us, we don't even like looking at ourselves in the mirror, because we really don't like that person. When the scriptures tells us to love our neighbors as ourselves, but we don't even know how to love ourselves. Because I was going to keep going with Luke 4, but we're going to stop there. Did that make sense?
Man.
Huh? Good. Jamont, pray us out.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you today. Everybody that came out to Shabbat. I pray that everybody here starts to strengthen their spirit, man, mentally and physically. I pray that everybody here starts to learn how to chew the cud, part the hoof, and be cloven-footed in everything that we do in life. I pray that everybody has a good weekend. I pray for the people, who are not here. I pray they have a mind to watch the live and read the Bible and get deep rooted in the Word, be cloven-footed, chew the cud. I also want to pray for my father that he gets better and better and better, mentally, physically, and spiritually. That he gets the will to want to get back to where he was. That his mind comes back to be more normal as usual and be more lucid. Once again, I pray for the Parsons family. They had a death in the family. I pray that you give them strength through this time of grief. I pray for everybody who's here listening on the side of my voice. I pray that everybody has a good week, have a good day, and enjoy the weekend. And thanks for Shabbat. All these blessings I ask. In Yeshua's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. So again, this was the Cold War / Parting of the Hoof. I am Yehuda. This is YAH'S Assembly. So please subscribe, hit that notification bell, like and share our content. And as always, until next time,
Peace.
Peace, family.
Whoa.